players in the world competing here today. What are some big names on this first page, Luke?
I don't even know where to begin with the list of players that are playing today. You have names like Nate Hill and the rest of FaZe Clan. In fact, 5 out of 5 players from FaZe qualified for these grand finals. 72 Hours from Liquid, who we saw put on a show. You don't need materials. You don't even need HP. All you need is a drum gun and a dream, and you can push around outside and rotate on your opponent. The thought processes that go through these players' minds is incredible. You got C9, Alliance, World's Best Gaming, Trouble Boys, and teams, countless teams. Yes. Envy. It's incredible.
And then on page 2 here, you see Sentinel's Animal. He was one of the 2 players who have had 10+ Elim games. Ghost Aydan was right there with him as well. Saf, who's done well in the summer skirmishes prior to this, continuing to put his name up there. Ghost Bizzle, a big name with that Ghost Gaming organization who've seen so much success this weekend. Heading out of the other side of the list, number 59 spot, Liquid Poach. Arguably a competitive fan favorite to potentially win the event this weekend. We'll see how he performs today. And then this was from last night, and I'm just going to quickly run through. FaZe Tempo, tfue, Hysteria, Chap, Geomach. You look, C9 Blind is on this list. Flower from Rogue. It does not. And what a stacked lineup we have heading into today, competing for the 1.5 million.
On top of that, you have players that are playing on a controller. You have players that are playing on keyboard and mouse.
Yes.
NICKMERCS is going to put on a show in Tilted Towers. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. And the best part is he's not alone. Aydan was consistently dropping Tilted in
the next 6 games. We will find out, well, who is a hell of a lot richer. Let's get into it. Game number 1. Who will come out on top? Remember, Victory Royale. You win this game, you automatically win $25,000. But let's be honest, everyone here is already a winner this week.
And you see in the bottom right, we're going to rotate through a number of top performers from the previous qualifiers just to take a look at where everybody's dropping. The map already getting a pretty solid spread. You got a lot of players. I mean, this is a bus straight across the middle, basically, which means everywhere is eligible. Snobby Shores, you see players dropping outside over the coast again to try and get as low as possible.
Ooh, Tilted. Tilted's actually very light landing, only 4 players. 4.
One is rotating in from Shifty, actually completely unoccupied. You see one is cutting back over the river, potentially seeing nobody else is going there, saying, okay, I'll gladly take all the loot. Let's go get as many as we can.
There's Tempo and Snobby. No surprise there. Morgoss had some crazy scenarios in his day of playing. If you remember, so low HP, was able to get some limbs when you thought it wasn't possible. 99 players in this lobby. And no surprise here, Aydan is in Tilted. The man who surprised so many people, said the other day was arguably the best day of his life. And look at NICKMERCS, already tagged up and weak and Tilted. We'll keep an eye on him later on, but this is in Viking Village. Saf going up against Cryo. Cryo, if you remember last night, won a coin flip to make it on in today.
A lot to see here up against Ghost. Saf is an excellent player, very, very good at quick reactions and quick edits, and Cryo hopefully can take advantage of his coin flip. Does not make it out the first game here. Viking Village pretty ruthless when it comes to loot at times. The building's there's a lot of tight quarters. They're playing out in the open though, and the exposure costs Cryo.
Now, this is Jack from United going up against Bartonologist. You see using that ramp edit to get a clear view. Tries to farm some extra materials, doesn't quite get a chance yet.
See the feed Poach picking up an elimination.
On the Povsey, as Jack clears out that sight line. Still just watching his back for a second. I don't think, does he know Bartonologist is
might not
right on the other side of this wall? Yeah, Bartonologist is just looking for the drop here. He's just waiting. It looks like there's an engagement about to go down. Bartonologist peeking the corner. Hasn't jumped out yet.
Well, he's got to know he's
blue
there
submachine gun, though, can absolutely shred this early on. He does have a health disadvantage at the moment. Trying to break on in. Maybe get a sight line of his opponent down low. Is he hiding into the pyramid? He is. He uses that time to pop under the shield, it appears. As now you've got to think Jack has a ton of health advantage and gets the hip-fired spread. Beautifully done from him. Yeah, he popped a big shield to go to 200 HP. And that's when it's kind of out of reach for Bartonologist.
It looked like it took just a couple crits there with the AR midair on his opponent, Bartonologist. Now this is the fight. I saw the elimination of the feed, but here's Povsey going down to Liquid Poach up here. Ooh, a quick midair burst. The only weapon Poach was sitting on, a gray burst, and that was enough.
Now just north of Flush Factory, you see Takada looking for where exactly Snood could be. Very low on materials. At least he's quite healthy at 175 HP. Snood had a major disadvantage there. Looks like he'll go ahead and just kind of leave this build for now, maybe try to farm up some trees, get himself some wood here, Lupo, to build.
Didn't want to get caught in a 1v1 in a tight quarter situation, get snood. Not enough materials early game to engage inside a building. Players typically use like a wall or a ramp mid-fight to stop even just a single shotgun blast if the timing is perfect. You saw there quickly the circle, Courage almost perfectly centered, maybe a little south side, which means pretty much everybody, unless you're maybe in Junction or the very top right, the northeast corner is going to have to, they have plenty of time to farm up materials, which means I would expect late game fights to be very competitive. Typically, if the circle is shifted hard the one side or the other, you know, top, bottom, east, west, wherever it is go. If it's very far away from players, those players are almost easy pickings just because they don't have the materials. And in competitive games, Courage materials you almost choose over anything else.
Turkey Lips, who led day one with eliminations in the qualifiers, looks like he hasn't skipped a beat.
Catches trouble was X is off guard there through the doorway. Looks like J Cuddy's trying to bait with the trap here. Somebody must be in the area. World's Best Gaming's Unicorn rotating around the outside. I think I saw him yesterday wearing actually like a rainbow sweatshirt. It's pretty cool.
Nobody with 2 elims yet. And again, to set the tone for just how crazy these games are, how different they are from what you're used to playing at home. There is still 78 players left in the lobby, and the first zone is about to begin to push. That was Punisher cutting down his opponent there. But yeah, look at that, Lupo. I mean, at home, right? You probably have, what, 35 players left at this point? Maybe 30? 78. I think players are taking the passive route for this start to today.
Now, there's a high number of players that have 1 elimination. Nobody right now has 2 currently. Horrify goes down to Mac from Soar. The accuracy on the shotgun shots from a lot of these players today looks fantastic, which means it's gonna come down to who makes a mistake first.
Goodness. Look at the ramp block from Aydan onto Crunch. He blocks the rocket, it damages Crunch, and then he follows up with the elim there. Aydan still in a good spot. NICKMERCS still alive. These two, the 2 kings of Tilted that we've seen so far this week.
It does make me wonder. We've seen players analyze each other's gameplay. Aydan most likely very aware that NICKMERCS goes to, I'm going to be honest, the same building almost every single time. Do you think he's purposely avoiding an engagement if possible?
Listen, Aydan's gone basically everywhere around there, but in the engagement feed, Emad just took down Tempo from last night. FaZe of the 4 games. FaZe won 3 of them. This was actually Tyler's in an engagement with Painful PvP, and right now Painful looks like he had all the advantage, and yeah, he did. Tyler's down early. Our kind of outspoken player from yesterday unfortunately drops here early in game 1.
Now, there's still 5 games left for these players, even after this one has been completed. So a bad game or 2, it doesn't spell the end.
Is this Nick versus Aydan? Is this Nick versus Aydan?
Shot to NICKMERCS goes down. Aydan says, "Welcome to Tilted."
And there, oh, Aydan letting him know.
I gotta say it, hi Twitter.
That honestly. Right there, folks, is what it's all about. Aydan knowing the reputation of NICKMERCS. Nick now seeing a new controller player trying to claim his Tilted area. And well, I feel like that's a battle we're gonna see a lot today, Lupo.
Psalm building up against, I believe it is it Levake here up in the sky. A lot of layers here, and there's a kind of a 3rd player potentially entering, maybe 3 or 4. They're very exposed right here. I'm surprised. I'm surprised no one has begun shooting down the structure here. It looked like it was built extremely vertically. They're kind of exposed.
Yep.
Psalm's got to be very careful that it doesn't look like he has a bounce pad. I would expect him to kind of have it out. Aydan has just claimed Tilted Towers as his own. Takes out.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ecstatic.
There are about 15 players at least who have won a limb in this game. Aydan, the only one at 3, has earned our first point today. Aydan continues his tear as he has claimed Tilted Towers. We said 4 people landed there at the start of this game. Everyone was eliminated by Aydan as he's now at 3.
The zone is starting to, it's going to have to start pushing players in. You're going to see people that are, this is kind of the beginning of the mix-up. You know, chaos typically happens. The storm closing now. We're going to see where the next circle is. It's centered over Tilted Towers, which means Aydan doesn't even have to move.
He's big chilling right now. There's a drop coming on in as well. Aydan's thought process, it looked like he basically said, you know what? I know NICKMERCS is going to go big gray. I'm going to land at double L's, loot Big Red, loot the new building, and then once I have everything I could ever want, then I'll challenge Nick at Big Gray. And it worked out perfectly for him there. He's still maxed on HP. Here's Boyer, who we just saw pop a medkit to get to full health. Over to Mercedes now on the edge of the football or soccer stadium. So he's trying to spot this player. You hear listening for those audio cues. It's actually WBG Punisher who took down Tempo earlier on.
In the feed, tfue takes an elimination there on Powder from Alliance. That is his first elim. Poach still has one. The list of players that are sitting on one elimination now is monstrous. Jay Cuddy actually has 2, but still Aydan, the only one, you see the board there, only one with 3. The only player with a single. Aydan actually just picked up his 4th elimination, which puts him 1 away from a second point.
I mean, can this man be stopped?
Engagement down here, though. He's trying to drop the structure down. Looking, you see that you can even hear the fall damage right there. That should be a Q.
He caught on the 1 layer of a ramp, though, which kept the high ground for his opponent. And now Mercedes knows just how tough of a situation he's in. Trying to get the quick edit to peek on out. Can't
Punisher
get the structure shut down in time. He's wearing a great shirt, though, so I'll give him that either way. Punisher with the elim.
Style matters, but the points are everything, Courage. Unicorn, Sakairos, very small. They're 2 floors away from each other. This is Aydan's 4th elimination earlier. A rotation in and lasers. Absolutely lasers. That gold AR is incredibly powerful. A chap building up here. It did look like Aydan picked up a chug jug right as he cut away, which means he's full health, full shield, ready for the next engagement. He's still safe inside the zone, but Chap here just on the west side of Dusty Divot, stuck in a 1v1, but we've seen Chap build. We've seen Chap take advantage of height and all of the structure here that he has ownership of, and we're going to watch players still continue to do that. They're going to break out anything they can. Take ownership of it. He puts the pyramid up to block any push. The player underneath, he's just trying to keep Chap away. And I'm going to be honest with you, Courage. A player like Chap, I don't think that's necessarily going to work.
No.
Chap is going to look for an angle, the weak spot in his players, the way that they're developing this strategy against him. He's going to take advantage of it. I almost expect at this point maybe a drop down, a knockout, to try, and Chap to go just for a shot in midair. He's got dualies as well.
Quickly to mention, E-United's Jack just knocked out Liquid Poach from this first game. So Poach eliminated with about 61 players left. This is by far the slowest game we've had to this point this week. How many people are still in play? Here goes the battle. Chap versus this enemy inside Dusty Divot. Both players getting hit heavy, and kayuun. Well, Chap falls right on into the window, and well, kayuun's shotgun wins that engagement there. Both players, it looked like we're going for the floor replacement. kayuun got it and dropped Chap in. Now the rift to go. Typically not necessarily taken by your opponent, but Drummond says, you can't get away from me. He's going to drop down. He also had the zone pushing.
Fly in. Yeah.
He had the zone there as well. Might as well just go ahead and skirt on out of there. Tilted Towers looks like it will soon be the only thing in play. And folks, Aydan has 10 minis and a chug jug. Could not ask for more shield healing. He's near maxed on each type of material. Gold heavy shotgun, gold legendary assault rifle, sorry. I mean, this man is set up for success here. Lavic rotating around the outside, drops on the outside. Looks like Sakairos didn't see him drop on the outside, place the platform, and the shotgun shot there secures an elimination just outside the zone, too. Chase taking shots, trying to drop the structure of his opponent before they rotate in. He's just hanging out outside the storm, but it's only ticket for 1, so it's not enough damage to worry about, but he has to build himself in. His opponent got a top down on him, got the height advantage, but he has the ability to edit out. Going to take ownership of that ramp in the middle, or at least just get it out of the way so his opponent doesn't have it. Building these little catacombs, trying to, it's a way to have your opponent lose track of your location. The replays from FaZe, he's still on top of him. Still watching, trying to grab. These players are fighting back and forth constantly for who owns what surface. The shots coming in through the angle to edit there, and Replays gets quite a bit of damage, maybe enough to push in, and he does. The shotgun and a fight inside the box and takes Chase out. 2 eliminations for Replays now. Beautifully done by Replays. He'll be rewarded with a medkit to get the full HP. While this was going on, 0 players have yet to hit 3 elims outside of Aydan. And while that fight was going on, Aydan actually moved up to 5 eliminations now at 2 points earned this game. Jay Cuddy just earned his 3rd elim to put him at 1 point as well. Apparently, Aydan's 5th elim was actually a trap that he left behind in a building in Tilted, and someone ran right through it.
That's not the first time he's done that either. During his qualifiers, that his 8th elimination in the second game came from a trap as he was rotating to the west.
Remember, that is incredible.
I love those
8 elimination second game heading west.
I specifically remember where
building.
it happened too.
Okay, Looper, jeez. It's that dad brain right there. You're showing it off. I love it. As Aydan, he's got another player close. He's got a launch pad at his inventory as well. Tilted will be out of play soon. You see, as he enters each room, he checks the roof for any traps. Make sure he can't sprint on in.
In the feed down there, replays from FaZe going down to kayuun, who just took out, I believe, liquidchap before that. That is a stack of eliminations to be proud of right there. Jack from EU with 3 elims, JKD still 3 elims, and Aydan with 5. That's 3 players currently with points. Aydan having 2, the others 1 apiece. Looks like Aydan has a player on the inside and here trying to take ownership of the wall so he can get the edit off. They're just holding on tight. He's going to have to rotate around potentially on top or push up the stairs. Change the angle of engagement. Pro players are typically very aware, these highly competitive players, very aware of appropriate times to disengage and get it up another angle. But Aydan gets dropped out from underneath his opponent, just lasering down any structure he's got. The AR shots, it's not as fast as an SMG, but it's enough to take structure out. Aydan's only building 1 layer at a time. The third party from behind, maybe tunnel visioning on the opponent that was in front of him, just pushing, losing track of the fact that somebody else was watching. There are other players there. You got to start looking for those little towers.
He's playing for having as much health as possible for the next fight. Gonna chug here for the extra 50 shield, as there's a ton of fights going on around him. That was Boyer who just cut down Cease. You got Lanane from Envy down there in the river. Does Aydan continue this aggressive play? Looks like he will. He wants this right away, Lupo.
Tyler's even analyzed it earlier in the interview. There's kayuun, we mentioned it earlier in the feed, eliminating replays, and here's the actual engagement. Taking a top down here, he's going for ownership of these structures so he can get the edit. These are my walls, and he wants the shot whenever he wants the shot. Here it is, 153.
Can't ask for much more from your shotgun. Right there, as we head back to the action, you're Tilted. Looks like Aydan's trying to build on up and match his opponent. Boyer, I think, has slipped on out of that lower box. He will have to move quite far for this next zone. This end game really near 0 areas of interest. You see kind of in the river, and how awkward is this? It's 2 cliffs and a low valley.
Look at how dense this circle is. This rotation is going to cut a lot of players out.
There's 49 players left. 49.
This is the most we've seen, I guarantee you, at this circle. 53 seconds and people have to move, and this is potentially a time for Aydan to shine. He might be on the outside of the circle, Jack, but you have an option here to not worry about placement, go for 2 more eliminations and secure 3 points very early in this event. It could be big.
Here's Vape Jesus, one of our players on the verge of earning 3 elims. All these players stacked up in these builds. It's like Saf's in a fight here, dropped to just 50 HP, but he does have a slurp ticking.
Just so people are aware, I'm looking at the map right now. Oh, the rocket from Saf down through the edited hole gets Vape Jesus underneath him. That's 2 eliminations. But on the map right now, there's 1 player on the far west side that is not moving. I would almost anticipate it's somebody that has a rift to go. Brandon from GS, who came in second in an engagement against 72 Hours. We saw that outside of the zone rotation on Brandon, but he's saying this is my time to shine. He's trying to track Bizzle down and Fuzzy simultaneously. 3 players stuck in the structure, and he's going to tunnel his way out. The layers over the top to protect from any above shot. Waiting. The jump shot on Fuzzy gets his first element. Brandon's going to maybe look for a second. Here's shots come in. He's rotating inside the storm. It's such an important piece of this is to maintain forward movement. You don't want to get caught outside. Players will take advantage of that.
Remember, that opponent now hears that audible shield tag, knowing his shields are gone. I'm down to just normal HP now. Going to go ahead and wait on out, as he'll have to back up. I think the tree kind of blocked him on his rush on up there. Down to 42 players left in the lobby. This game is going to escalate very, very quickly. I can promise you that. Brandon just sitting inside this box. He used all his materials though, Lupo. Down to just 32. He's got no shields left. This is one of those awkward scenarios where He's just hoping people forget about him.
Jack, there's 42 players left in the circle, and it's time to move. North side is where everybody's got to go, which means if you're in the south like Sinfully here, you're going to have to fight your way out and see what you can do. Rockets coming in. There's going to be a lot of this happening. People going for splash damage eliminations. They got any structure they can, and Hysteria trying to get an elimination at the zone there, but Saf secures it on Sinful. 0 elims thus far for Hysteria. And look at these players. They're all poised to strike on each other, waiting for literally anybody to move, anybody to make a mistake. And we've got 60 seconds left and 40 players still alive.
Hysteria played in each day of the qualifiers to get to this point. Wind up getting in late last night and basically the final game. Here with a ton of materials left, he's just trying to peek on out and find this basically free elim as he's looking to maybe third party a fight. Does get heavily tagged twice. Not happy to be in this scenario now, I can promise you that.
He's got enough materials maybe to push against this here for a little while. 38 remaining, 30 seconds left until the zone moves, and then I'm telling you, when this thing starts, this is when chaos ensues. The zone move is one of the deadliest moments in games like this.
And it's down this mountain too for all these players up top.
Everybody's got to slide.
Yeah. Jumpman does have 2 launch pads, which I'm expecting him to use here. He's going to fly right on into the next zone. He's already got the natural height over it. Here, continuous tags. I think that is Hysteria being sprayed by like 3 or 4 people right now. United's Jack just got his 4th elim of the game as he's looking to catch up to Aydan. Aydan was eliminated earlier on. We've now got 5 players with a point on the board. Looks like these were 2 players fighting earlier on, Lupo and Shifty.
This kind of shows just how
they both fell.
Don't stick the landing on the way in. This kind of shows how players are.
Oh no! Oh no!
You see in the feed, Jumpman eliminating Aydan. We at least know
he hit his head
went down to
on a tree and was knocked down. Here's that move we mentioned, down into the river. What an ending to this first zone. Hysteria there. You see the shotgun elimination on the knees. 32 players still remaining. Typically at this point we're at like 13, 14 players, and we're at 31.
This is a good example of how high the nerves are here.
He just got a drop.
We have cheers from the crowd here for that one.
He's got remote explosives and a rocket.
That's huge. Against all the players that are playing incredibly slow, they're all built up in structures. Explosives are going to be, I mean, that could be game-changing. He could come away with a bunch of eliminations, even just to knocking structures down with that. And he's going to start pushing up. He's going to get up top of the zone. He owns all of this, too. You see he's making quick edits on pretty much every piece he's moving through. And this is Hysteria's first elimination thus far today in game 1. An opponent, surprise, falls inside and catches Nice off guard.
You know, that's when the double barrel is quite good, just as a pro tip, when they're inches in front of your face.
Literally right there.
Yes. Here we go, folks. Our move to our next zone about to begin.
27
tfue
players.
has been inching across all of this build. I was wondering how he was going to do this with little materials. Somehow he's claimed this entire top area, it seems. Nate Hill still in it. Jayomok still in it. Here we go. This game is about to escalate very quickly. The moves coming from everybody now. Chris 2 elims. Can he earn his 3rd to put a point on the board? Gorilla just cut down Jayomok. You see Nate Hill using the bounce pad. Everyone surging forward. The common enemy of everyone is this storm. And you can see they're all afraid with how much damage it does. Somehow tfue not being shot. He's made it on in and secured a nice little structure to heal on up.
Literally no one wants to engage anybody else right there. You saw tfue drop the C4. I think the idea is if somebody's pushing up underneath him, he can edit it out and drop the C4 down. Brandon gets caught off guard, and Jack secures his 6th elimination and a med kit.
He's got a med kit now. He's got to use this right away. The zone is 25 seconds. Pop that med kit. Get above 6 HP. tfue 1 elim away from earning himself a point. Remember, top 10 in the game earn themselves a point as well.
No fall damage. Honestly, kind of surprisingly, so many explosives.
He's out of materials. I think he's just got to kind of go for this. That's all of his mats left.
One more elim is a point for tfue, and he's going to look for one. There's still 10 players that are that have to go down before rank matters for points, which means now's the time, and he gets it. Catches Shrugs off guard through a little tiny window. That green drum gun coming in big, and another one. tfue going for his 4th elimination.
He's got to move. The zone is there. He's got to move. He's trapped on in. tfue choking on out. The storm ticking for so much, and there he goes. tfue out from game one as the Storm claims another victim.
You got Nate Hill basically sitting on nothing, no HP, no shield in the bottom, and he had some minis, going to patch himself up. When Nane's stuck inside, basically in the middle of the, there's a player sandwich here. 11 left, one more goes down. Everybody that's left alive gets 1 point minimum.
Whoever is a limb next, heartbreaking stuff, as they will be just on the verge of a free point. I know one thing, Nate Hill has no plans of peeking on out with that little HP left. 3 medkits for Morgoth. You've got to think he's in a good spot if this goes to a heal-off. Uh-oh. Fight about to go down. Morgoth with a shot. There it is. We're now into our top 10. A quick trade.
Trades happening back and forth.
The hype there, that was 3 limbs, and he made it to the top 10. That's 2 points there. Landjock, we mentioned, you can have all sorts of play styles. This one, not go for any fights. He's in 6th place with 0 limbs, but he's out of mats. He's full of the bottom. It's time to rip back up.
He pulled 2 other players with him. 3 are on their way down from the top.
Pulling right away.
He's gonna. I think the goal is to try and land as fast as possible.
No, he's gonna rip again. Oh my God! No! Oh. That was almost 200 IQ. It could come back to bite him.
Gets the shot on Gorilla.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Trades going down. Nate Hill within a limb. Prodigy Aces. Looks like he's got the high ground right now. Only 1 limb to his name. Remember, top 3 earned 2 points. He's made it. 2 points now earned. So many medkits. The Storm is pushing on in. This is it. I believe it's going to come down to a heal off right now. Player shooting from above. He doesn't have time to heal. It's Nate Hill, and I don't think Nate has any health left. He's got 1 HP. He's trying to break down. He doesn't have the time. This should be it. He's got 1 extra tick of HP, and there's the victory